This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts.
Ladies and gentlemen, making their way to the microphones, it's Jack. It's Kenny. It's the Rock and Roll Up Podcast.
Welcome to Rock and Roll Up with Jack.
And Kenny.
There he is, look. Rock and roll. The boys are back in town this week. It's 21st Century Breakdown 2006, where we count down the best singles and albums of the year 2002, 2020.
2002? No, it's 2006 today.
2002, 2020. All right?
Oh.
You've embarrassed yourself.
Yeah.
One of these. Couple of spins here.
Yeah.
For the listeners, I'm currently spinning a drumstick. That's that.
Don't do that. Someone close to the pod said that when's your next episode of the 21st Century Breakdown?
Go on.
Because if you're not careful, it'll take another century before you've got through the 20 years.
We're surrounded by comedians.
Yeah.
You know, if that is a close friend of yours, just push them away. Can't be doing with that negativity.
Yeah. We'll do it at our own pace, okay?
Look, it might not come for a while, but we're busy guys.
We're busy guys. 2006 today.
Yep. We're here. We've been busy. We've been busy getting sweaty here in warm, sunny England. We've been enjoying listening to some throwback songs from the year 2006. What was going on in the year 2006? I think you have some news to contextualise the year, don't you? What was going on?
I think there's two bits of news that define this year, and I don't know which one I'm more upset about. Steve Irwin died.
Oh, that is a sad start.
Sad.
Are we bringing back our popular feature, Who's Died This Week?
Well, Steve Irwin, he's dead.
Oh, that is...
But also, in
in
perhaps more upsetting news, Pluto was downgraded from a planet to a dwarf planet.
You're joking. I can see why you started with the Steve Irwin thing.
I know. Yeah.
I'm not sure I can
Now
carry
that
on.
seems not that bad.
Yeah, honestly. I don't care about that now.
Dwarf planet. You're a dwarf planet.
Oh, you little tiny one. Can you
Imagine
say dwarf
thinking you were a planet and then being told you're a dwarf planet.
It's like finding out you're adopted. Oh my lord. You know, well, that is devastating. So what does it actually mean to be a dwarf planet?
Well, you'd think, considering I brought this up, that I would have looked into that.
So I'm looking forward to these findings.
Yeah. So a dwarf planet is smaller than a non-dwarf planet.
Okay. Thank you, Kenny, there.
Come here for the science and the facts.
Right. Okay. Informed opinion here at Rock and Roll Up.
So that was some stuff that happened in 2006. Probably the biggest stories.
Were you sad about Steve Irwin? I was very sad about Steve.
Yeah, I was quite sad, yeah.
It was like a month of mourning in Australia. It was really, it was really bad. National treasure.
His son is just like Steve.
Yeah, the apple didn't fall far from the crazy crocodile hunting tree.
Yeah, he was on, I don't know if it was Kimmel or Fallon or something.
He did the rounds of talk shows, didn't he?
Yeah, funny that. Cashing in. What?
What's that? Cashing in. Yeah. Despicable, actually. I won't ever watch him again. He actually got bitten on the face by a snake the other day, his son, didn't he? It was in the news.
Oh, no.
He was filming it. Don't worry, he's okay. You know, that would be a weird way to break that he's also died. But no, he got bitten right on the noggin and little bit of blood, you know. But they write it off, don't they? The Aussies. Oh yeah, I'm bitten by a cobra. Not a problem.
Not a problem.
Let's go down the beach.
Any
If
other
I see a
news?
spider, I'm like, woo!
Sorry, can you just do that again? That's it.
One more time for us with the drumsticks. Woo! Yeah. Also doubles as a ghost impression. So.
Any other news from 2006 that you've got?
Plenty. Well, I mean, you've started with some trivial stuff. You know what I mean? I'm hitting the big ones. I'm hitting the big boys. Yeah.
Go on.
This next news item is going to be like a cobra to your throat. Chocolate Jesus exhibit cancelled after uproar.
Oh no, not this.
My Sweet Lord, a nude, anatomically correct sculpture of Jesus Christ, was said to be one of the worst assaults on Christian sensibilities ever. Bill Donahue said that. He was the head of the Catholic League.
Worse than the systemic raping of children, or
yeah. Come on,
chocolate
Jesus.
Chocolate Jesus.
You've got wrong. If you think that's acceptable, I do love that it was called My Sweet Lord. I thought they've got a little pun in there.
That is funny.
But anatomically correct. Now, nobody's met Jesus that I know of, and there's not that many, I would say anatomically correct measurements out there for Jesus. But someone has really spent the time thinking, "What how big his thighs are?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then just gently sculpting them out of dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate, sorry. White chocolate, because Jesus was...
Anyway, second piece of news. You can think of some chocolate Jesus puns while we're waiting. Telltale parrot exposes cheating girlfriend. All happened in 2006, folks. You're getting the big news stories. Chris Taylor, a 30-year-old British computer programmer, grew suspicious of his live-in girlfriend when his pet parrot began to imitate her, saying, "I love you, Gary. I love you, Gary." Just like that.
No.
Yeah. Ziggy, an 8-year-old African grey, would also make kissing noises whenever the name Gary was mentioned on the TV.
Oh, Gary.
Can you believe that? Every time she answered the phone, he'd be mimicking the name Gary. This parrot, he's watching what's going on, confronted with the evidence, she admitted wrongdoing, admitted to a months-long affair with a co-worker named Gary. Can you believe it? The parrot has been snooping. That is intelligence.
If anyone's feeling suspicious of their partner, get a parrot.
Get a parrot. Get a parrot in. They know what's going on. Cheating. Get a parrot in. So she moved out the same night, apparently. She found out. So probably moved straight in with Gary. It might have worked in her favour. I don't know.
Yeah.
Little African grey. Ziggy the African grey. Perhaps named after Ziggy Stardust. He's coming on next week for an interview. So look forward to that one.
The parrot or...
Yeah, the parrot's coming, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty. We're doing guests now. After the success of our Sid Vicious interview,
Don't mention that.
Yet to be released.
Potentially libelous.
Yeah, they got me thinking. What animal? What animals think about people cheating? You know what I mean? There's a dog used to living with a couple. Suddenly, Gary's popping around every fortnight. What's the dog thinking? Who's this guy? Does he like him? What if the cat's allegiance changes to the guy you have an affair with?
Does the dog know? Does the dog know?
Does the dog know? Is the dog, trying to tip off the person? You know what I mean? We just don't know. Maybe it's all a big coincidence. Maybe the parrot loved Gary Glitter. We don't know.
Maybe.
Parrots love glitter. It's a fact.
Any other news?
We've got some music news. Talk to me. Who was playing the festivals in 2006?
Well, Glastonbury was a fallow year, so that didn't happen.
Fallow year. What's a fallow year? People that don't know what that means. What does that mean?
I don't know where the word comes from, actually. Fallow. It basically means you give, because it's a working farm, it gives the ground a year to kind of repair the animals, time to, come off of their cocaine addictions that they got from last year.
Full of cat, those chickens. Full of cat. Jimmy Fallow. Hey, come on now.
So Glastonbury has a year off every, 4 years or so? 4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
Reading Festival had Franz Ferdinand, Muse, and Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam, wow. 2006 Pearl Jam.
Not bad. So Muse coming off of Well, an album that we may speak about later.
Woo!
Franz Ferdinand coming off of Take Me Out at some point in the few years before.
Yeah.
Pearl Jam coming off of that good shit they did in the 90s and nothing since.
Yes, another example of Reading picking strange people. I believe on the Pearl Jam day, My Chemical Romance, who we'll talk about later, were third from the top, below Placebo.
Ooh,
This was one of the year where they released one of the biggest rock albums of all time, which we shall come to later on, and yet they were below Placebo on that day.
However, that's a gig. That is a gig. MCR, Placebo, Pearl Jam. I'm interested in that.
I'm interested. Yeah. Throw the Venga Boys in there. We're ready to go.
You're ready. Talking of the Venga Boys at Download Festival, you had. I mean, I'm pretty sure this lineup's happened about 4 times. It's Tool, Metallica, and Guns N' Roses.
Never heard of them, mate. Every time. I didn't realise how many times Guns N' Roses have played. Like all different incarnations of Guns N' Roses. I know.
Considering that Slash rejoined, since Slash and Duff have rejoined, they've played once.
Yeah.
And every other time was just the shit version of Guns N' Roses with Axl. They've played so many times.
Yeah. Waste of time. That's what I say.
Cool. So that was...
Cool.
Metallica played...
they must have played 4 or 5 times, didn't they?
They've played so many times. Maiden, Metallica, Kiss, Def Leppard. They've played so many times, all of them. Download really need to,
need to ramp it up, especially with there's a lot of new metal bands coming through.
They're huge. I mean, Bring Me the Horizon, I don't think have ever headlined, and they are verging on mainstream appeal.
Yeah.
I mean, not. I think they're okay. They're pretty good. How they haven't headlined, I do not know.
I wonder if Lars actually played a good set for Metallica on this particular gig, or
it's unlikely, isn't it?
Looked at it. Our thoughts on Lars.
It's unlikely. I wonder. So where are we? 2006. Is this the gig when Lars is ill?
Where Joey, a couple of other people took his place. I don't know the answer to that.
What year was that? Just shows how many times they've played Download.
Yeah, wow. Would you sub in? Would you jump in? We haven't got a drummer. We need someone that can play these songs. There's only one man. It's you. It's Kenny Beveridge.
I'd put my hand up and go, I can probably play them as well as Lars. So, if when you set the bar that low, so many people most people in the audience could probably have stepped in.
Can you play in time? Yep, you're in. Go.
Better than our last drummer.
Lars, what can we say? Well, there was lots of other things going on. The top UK album that year was Snow Patrol with Eyes Open. 1.5 million UK albums sold, 6 million worldwide. Snow Patrol, 6 million albums sold.
Imagine that.
I mean, they got a couple of singles, but I didn't realise quite how big they were. I remember at the time they were on everything. Yeah. Top UK single was Crazy by Niles Barkley, which is a very iconic pop song. That spent 11 weeks, 11 in the top 10. Yeah. Sold 600 million in the UK. So
it's a very good song.
It's a very good song. Yeah, good song, good voice.
Funny though that you think 2006. We're looking at 14 years ago. Niles Barkley, nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, right. I think it was obviously CeeLo Green, and I think it was Danger Mouse, wasn't it?
Was it?
It was those two that kind of made this soul electronic kind of stuff, and then it was gone as quickly as it came. He had some solo stuff, didn't he, CeeLo and things? So.
Yeah. And then Snow Patrol. I mean.
Yeah, right. Geez. I think they're still going. I don't know. They were always safe for me. They were safe, sort of soft rock. They were good, but I think they're all mates with Ed Sheeran, aren't they? They know him or something, which probably. What have we got? Some Brit Award winners quickly to run through. Yeah. Coldplay won for Best British Album and Single. Can't remember the album.
X
James
and Y.
Blunt. Yeah, probably wasn't it?
Because when they do the Brits, it's the year before, isn't it? So
Yes, that's
that would
right.
be 2005 pick. So we mentioned X and Y, probably Speed of Sound.
That is a good pick, to be fair.
Yeah, very good.
Best British male was James Blunt. Controversial for some, but at the time, in his heyday, back-to-back singles.
Yeah.
A favourite of ours, Katie Tunstall, won Best British Female. And the breakthrough act, an act that we'll come to later on, Arctic Monkeys.
They won Breakthrough the year before. Right, okay. Yeah.
I think that's the one they didn't turn up to. And they sent their mate or something. It was something like that. Too busy.
It sounds like them.
They started off, we'd love to give you an award for being great. Fuck off. Wouldn't have thought so. The System. Did you say The System? I don't think so. A couple of fingers up. Down with Thatcher.
Down with Thatcher.
Very much what the Arctic Monkeys stand for.
Movies. Biggest movies of the year. The biggest movie, I believe. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest.
Dead Man's Chest.
Now,
Dead Man's Chest.
In the coming years, didn't they? So last year was Dead Men Tell No Tales, right?
Yeah, and then next year will be Dead Men Take Chests.
Tails.
Don't. Is that the one with the wheel when he runs around in the wheel?
Don't know. Rubbish films. Rubbish.
Yeah.
First one. All right. Rest. Shite.
Yeah, they're not great, and they're doing an all-female reboot. So come on.
Oh,
that's really what the franchise needs.
That's what I've always wanted.
Margot Robbie having to act. Yes, please.
Another massive film, Da Vinci Code.
Oh, Illuminati confirmed. Ian McKellen naked on a floor.
Oh, Casino Royale, the first Daniel Craig.
Whoa, Bond's back, baby. He walks out the sea in his little blue trunks, and we go, oh, he just looks too old, doesn't he? He looks way too old to be Bond.
He looks way too old, and he's not charming, is he?
He looks like someone's painted a face on a sort of bowling ball. What's going on? He's
got a good body, but he's literally just looks like he's dead inside.
Yeah. Is that a crater with a balloon? That's for a face. I don't understand. Yeah, there you go.
Not a fan of Daniel Craig. Chris Cornell did the song though; it was quite good.
Good, Chris. Yeah, good song. Good guy. Great voice. We love that guy.
300 came out.
Wow, this is Sparta.
So those are the big films. A couple of my favourites. I'll run through them quickly. One of my favourite ever films, The Departed.
Good film, man. Yeah, good film.
Blood Diamond, The Prestige.
Prestige Worldwide, lovely.
Children of Men.
Great film. Great.
And one of my favourite animated films, Cars.
Cars, classic, of course.
And one of my favourite comedy films, Borat.
Borat? I thought that was later than that.
So, add it up.
Let me do my Borat impression. My wife. There we are.
My wife.
Oh, no, it's more like this. My wife. It's more like that.
Is it?
Yep. Night at the Museum. That was out then as well.
Oh, what a film.
A great film. They probably stretched that IP a little bit too tight. You know what I mean? A bit too taut. But it was fun. It was a fun film.
Yeah.
Had a young Rami Malek in it. I think the third one. Second or third one.
Oh, yeah. He plays the Egyptian king.
Yeah. And that was the role where he went, I'm going to stop taking racist roles, actually. So, which is true. But then we know what happened after that.
Anything else to cover before we hit the actual purpose of the episode?
No, I think that's the context, mate. We've laid the groundwork for 2006. What was going on?
2006. What were we? Were we doing anything in particular? Have we met by 2006? Probably still not quite.
Not quite. I don't think. No. I don't even remember how old I would have been. I can't. Isn't maths rubbish?
Yeah.
He goes, how old were you in 2006? I go, I don't know, and I don't even know how to work that out. So 96, so 92, so 10 and 14. I was 35 then. What? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I had not met my significant girlfriend yet. I met her the year after, who then I split up with. But so I was with her when I met you. So we definitely
We were 14. We're about 14 here, on the cusp of puberty. It was
14,
happening.
15, yeah.
14, 15. Oh yeah, you're slightly older, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were changing, man. All our bodies were like changing and that.
Our bodies, man.
Just changing, you know what I mean? I mean, yours is kind of still changing, but that's okay. Some people are slower than others. You know, so.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Some girls are bigger than others.
Exactly. Big girls, you are beautiful.
Thank you.
That was out a little later than this, but
A little bit later.
talk singles.
So, should we do singles first? Yeah, singles first.
Let's talk singles.
And I'm gonna
top singles on me.
we're gonna warn everybody. I think we need to warn them. 2006 is. I mean, we seem to say this every year, but it's hard to contemplate. When I first looked at it, it was hard. I was like, how am I going to do this? The research for this episode has been huge.
Staggering. There's been lists, there's been deletions, there's been different lists.
I've changed as a person.
Yeah, your body's still changing.
Okay, so we had to split our picks into top three, as we always do, but we've also got honourable mentions, and then on top of that, we've just got kind of ones that didn't even make it to that. So
Come on.
Let's shoot some just indie pop ones. Where are we?
Shoot some indie pop singers with a BB.
Okay, so you've got Razorlight, In the Morning. America.
Razorlight in the morning. That's what you want. New Razorlight in the morning.
New.
We had a close shave with 3 different blades. Razorlight in the morning. I'm available for voiceovers. rockandrolluppodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah. Razorlight. Wake up to 2 good singles and quite a mediocre album.
And a mediocre decade. Yeah, in the morning. Oh, yeah, that was okay. He's an underrated guitarist, old chap.
And America. America. Oh, my life.
Oh, in America. Yeah, no, all right. They're not bad.
Dirty Pretty Things, Carl Barat's band after the Libertines. Bang, bang, you're dead.
Oh, so it seems a bit violent for me.
Yeah, that one. Fratellis, Henrietta.
Fratellis, good year for the Fratellis. We've seen them, mentioned that before. Yeah, good album. That Costello Music. Did debate that, perhaps going in, at least in an honourable, but he got downgraded. Only because I think I probably overplayed it. But good drummer for the Fratellis as well.
Over and Over, Hot Chip. Good song. Over and over and over and over and over.
There you go. A little cheeky robot dance there for the listeners.
It's quite good. So that's me indie stuff. There's some Paolo Nutini, but I'm going to mention him a little bit later
on. Yeah.
Anything for you in indie that was good?
Indie, yeah. Well, I think Snow Patrol, Chasing Cars. You know, big single. It was in everything. Gavin and Stacey. I mean, you know, it's just in every show ever had Chasing Cars in it.
Yeah.
Here I lie here. Another good one, The Kooks, She Moves in Her Own Way.
Yeah.
Really like that single.
Oola, and You Don't Love Me.
Really, again, album-wise, could have crept into an honourable.
It's a really good album. It's really such a good album.
Probably their best album. You know, I haven't delved too deep in the last few years, but just radio single after radio single. Not bad at all. James Morrison released You Give Me Something in a kind of singer-songwritery indie way. Remember that song? Good voice, James Morrison, but again, bit middle of the road for us lads. You know, us puberty-ridden boys.
You had Raconteurs, Steady As She Goes.
Oh, like that. Like that. Dum, dum, dum. Oh, that is a nice song. I'm going to be honest. My favourite Jack White song, Steady As She Goes. I've put it out there.
Do you know what?
Put it out there for all to see.
I tell you what. I might even have a hotter take than that.
Ooh, take that out. Oh, put your gloves on.
My favourite Jack White song might be his Bond song. With
Dangerous. With Alicia
Keys. That's it. That's the one. Yeah.
What's that called? I can't remember.
Da 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 da.
That's a long name. Da 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 da. Yeah, right. I mean, who's your favourite Jack though? If you had to count.
I do like Jack Nicholson quite a lot.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
I do like forgotten footballer and Man City, loney out somewhere, Jack Rodwell.
Does he rod well?
Well,
Answers on a postcard, or of course, recently deceased football legend Jack Charlton.
oh, Jack Charlton.
Oh,
What else? Billy Talent, Devil in a Midnight Mass.
Can you do his voice? I can't. Devil in a Midnight Mass. Yeah, that was. Yeah,
Red Flag and Fallen Leaves. I like as well. Fallen leaves on the ground.
That's a good. Nothing never found. Yeah, good. They were big again for like one album maybe, and then it's a lot of these bands.
An album an album. I think that does it make honourable later? There's just so many singles and albums, Jack.
I know. There's going to be a crossovers. Yeah.
Tell Me Baby, Humpty Bump, and very, very much a close to top 3, Snow, Red Hot Chili Peppers off of Stadium Arcadium. That riff is astonishingly hard to play.
Yeah, wow, yeah.
It's so
who was the guitarist then?
It was still Frusciante.
It was still Frusciante. Hi, I'll have a couple of then a Frusciante for the.
I'll have a macchiato, cafe latte, Frusciante.
Thank you,
John Frusciante.
Yeah, I mean, you know my thoughts on the Chili's. I like them, but I've never been mad on them. But I have to say, big album for them. Got a lot of play. Listened to it a lot at the time. So
yeah,
what to say?
I've got a whole section for emo. Emo was huge.
You do that. Shall I run through some pop and then we'll go to emo?
Yeah, do some pop.
We got back to back. Pump It, Black Eyed Peas. Remember that? Dun 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 dun. Hips Don't Lie, Shakira.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
Oh baby, when you talk like that. Man Eater, Nelly Furtado. She's a man eater.
Good. And promiscuous Nelly Furtado as well.
Nelly, she was all over it. She was eating men. She was sleeping with them. She's
sleeping with them.
Kind of tarantula woman. Sexy Back, Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
The classic. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Big single for Scissor Sisters, I Don't Feel Like Dancing.
What a tune.
Great song. Great band. They've kind of, don't know what's happened to them.
Yeah.
Lily Allen, Smile. You love a bit of Lily.
I love Lily Allen. She's in my Smile is in my honourable mentions. It's very, very good.
Oh, is it in there? We'll come to that then. Put Your Records On, Corinne Bailey Rae.
Good song.
Great song. Again, one hit wonder. Although she still does festivals and things, but that song is so beautifully bright and summery that it's just lasted years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you remember It's Chico Time by Chico from the X Factor?
Yes.
Yeah. Remember Chico?
I remember that.
Yeah, he was a strange one. I actually saw him live at a festival once.
What festival was that?
I tell you what, it was. What was the name of it? It was in Bowood House and Gardens in like Derry Hill, Chippenham, where we used to live in Wiltshire. It was like the Crime Stoppers Family Fun Day. It was like that. It basically had all the X Factor rejects. So I saw Liberty X, who were good. I saw Journey South. I saw some other guy, and then I saw Chico.
Headlined Chico Time.
Oh, I don't. Oh, did he headline? I don't think he headlined. I think he might have just been cleaning the bogs. I'm not sure.
I think he might have been on his knees just having a.
What's that? It's Chico's time. And of course, everyone's favourite Lil Chris song, Checking It Out. Checking It Out was out in 2000.
Checking it out!
Off the success of Gene Simmons' Rock School, which was a genuinely good show, which I believe was that year, or maybe possibly the year before. Yeah,
Tragic.
a successful solo career, culminating, of course, in yeah. We move on to emo. Talking of emotional and depressing things.
We had all sorts. Evanescence second album, Call Me When I'm Sober.
Oh, I love that song.
Nice. Yeah. Miss Murder, which I gotta say, I didn't like that AFI album very much.
His hair. Oh, the biggest fringe I've ever seen, baby.
You had Make Damn Sure, Liar, Taking Back Sunday, huge album from them. Hawthorne Heights, Saying Sorry. You had the good band, but much forgotten for good reasons. Town Call Hypocrisy, Rooftops by Lost Prophets.
Never heard of them, mate.
No, wiped from history. There were more than one person in that band, and those two songs are quite good. But
not sure that you're a very good person. We've mentioned Ian Watkins and Gary Glitter on the same show,
and Little Chris, who killed himself.
And Little Chris, so it's a big old orgy.
Yeah. You had Laguna Coil, Our Truth.
Oh, great. And they did back-to-back single with Enjoy the Silence, a Depeche Mode cover we mentioned previously.
Yes, yeah.
Very good.
Simply
good
the
album,
best covers episode. Good album, yeah. Anthem, We Are the Fire, the second Trivium album, third Trivium album. Anthem's okay. Didn't like the album. One of your favourite songs, favourite Eurovision songs ever.
Yes, Hard Rock Hallelujah.
Hard
Get the
Rock.
drums out. Dum dum dum.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, great. His little wings open on the back of his suit. Yeah, Lordi. Mentioned Lordi before. I think Devil is a Loser made it into our playlist actually of good singles from a couple of years back.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, good band. Fun album. You know, a couple of the tracks on it. There's actually a really good, I believe it was a B-side called Mr. Killjoy. That should have made it on the main album. That is a very good song as well from around this time for Lordi, if you'd like to check it out.
Nice. Have you got anything to mention before the honourable mentions?
I've got a couple more metal ones and rock ones.
Yeah.
Breaking Benjamin, The Diary of Jane, a song you would recognise if you can't think of it at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Really catchy song, made onto a lot of playlists and pre-CDs and things like that. It was always on TV, on like Scuzz and things like that. In Flames, this song nearly made it into my honourables or even favourites, but I've kept it in metal. A song called Come Clarity from In Flames, which has one of the best sort of middle eights, metal middle eights. It's like a solo, and it has a beautiful lead into the solo. In Flames, a band I've seen live, and they're very, very good. And I think their first album, which was like 99 or something, was a real game changer in terms of metal and new metal and metalcore and things. A band that maybe doesn't always get the respect they deserve. So really like that song. What else have we got? I think that's pretty much covered it. Oh, actually, banger one-hit wonder from this year is Orson, No Tomorrow. Do you remember that? When I'm with you, baby, there's no tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
The music happens. I mean, that was everywhere, that song. It was everywhere. And he wore a little hat and fedora, didn't he?
Little, woo.
And then
Little
they
hat.
were gone. They were gone. Like a fart in the wind.
Like a candle in the fart.
Elton John's, well, we don't want to talk about that.
No.
And also a classic song covered many years later, which we spoke about on our previous episode, the Zootons' Valerie.
Yeah, absolutely, and that leads me on to my honourable mentions.
Come on.
So we've mentioned Chasing Cars, that was close. Also in the pop sphere, you had Shine by Take That.
Nice.
And what we mentioned just before with Amy Winehouse, Love is a Losing Game and Back to Black.
Oh, beautiful.
Just so good. They were very close to going in my top 3. Basically, all of the ones now were pretty close to getting in my top. My top 3. That's my kind of pop ones. Indie ones, you had Monster by The Automatic.
What's that coming over the hill? Great. Didn't like that song when it came out, and I don't really know why. It was a grower.
I think I heard so many pub bands play it.
I think that's what it was. Yeah. Everyone used to sing it, and I was like, "Oh, this isn't very good." But then when you actually hear the song is a good song. So
yeah,
people kind of killed it.
Naive by the Kooks. So that was my favourite single off that album.
That is a cracking song.
Chelsea Dagger as well off of that Fratelli's album.
Boom, bubba bum, bubba bum.
And mentioned Paolo Nutini earlier. You had Last Request.
This was so close. This is definitely what we agree on in honourable mentions. This was so close to going in.
That close.
You know what? I'm going to go wild. I'm going to give us one extra pick from honourable mentions to put in the playlist. I've said it.
There's so many.
It's got to go in. I mean, well, maybe not that, but
I've got more yet.
What version? Those 2 versions. There's like the more acousticy version, or there's like the single version.
Of which one? Last Request.
There's like a piano version, and then there's like an acoustic band version.
Is there?
There is. There's 2 different versions.
Oh, I don't know.
I prefer like the bandy version.
Yeah, I haven't heard the piano version.
Yeah.
So good. That album actually was very close to going in album. Slow down.
What a voice. Like Sam Cooke is reincarnated. Beautiful voice. Not sure what's happened to him last few years again.
His second album was okay. Not as good by a long shot. And then I don't know what happened to him after that. But that whole album, oh my God. These Streets.
Yeah.
You had Last Request, Rewind. You had Autumn Leaves, which is if you've got a grandparent that's passed away, don't listen to that. Jeez. It's
leaves on the ground. Is it that one?
It's not that one. The more you sing it, the more I actually think I don't like them, Billy Talent. All them lives.
Yeah. Talent being in the name.
That's my pop and indie, and then I've got some rock and metal to mention. You got any pop and indie for honourable mentions?
Not really pop or well, I guess indie. I guess Morrissey counts as kind of pop rock indie. One of my favourite Morrissey songs, I mentioned his solo career before, a song called You Have Killed Me. A really
cheery stuff.
Cheery episode. It's just a really cool, Morrissey wailing at his best. As I live and breathe, you have killed me. It's just about someone breaking up with him. I think simple as that. But beautifully catchy chorus that's really singable. So I really like that. In more of a rocky vein, I would put, which might be a surprise. I'd imagine this album is coming up in honourable mentions, so maybe I'll save it. The Killers. Now, many singles this year, but one of my favourite singles, in fact, my favourite single off of Sam's Town is the single Bones. I love that song more than any other song on the album. It has a wicked verse to it. And that was so close to going into my top singles. Really weird video, like skeletons on a beach. It was a weird video. But,
it was close to going in my albums. I think, when I'm thinking about them, it was, I think, Paolo Nutini and Killers were basically 4 and 5 from my top 3. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But I've got
go on.
Metal and rock. So This Calling, All That Remains.
Yeah, that drum track. I think it's played by the guy that plays for Nile or played in Nile. I can't remember his name. One of the best metal drum tracks of all time. Good luck learning that. Yeah, unbelievable.
It is probably the song that opened my eyes to like screamo lyrics. screamo vocals. I never really was into it before I heard this, and I just I think the chorus is just so beautiful as well. When it goes soft lyrics. Yeah.
Lovely time changes,
Yeah.
beautiful kind of solo which changes time again. Amazing. Some of the best recorded drums on that. A band that we saw this very year on a tour that I will come to later on, that we both saw, I believe, in Bristol. I saw them in Bristol. You saw them on the Dragon Force tour.
Oh, yes.
You saw them perform this song live.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
I remember him. He had a red baseball cap on, the singer, and he was screaming at the security guard over his head the whole time. And the security guard was there like,
So did you see them on the Dragon Force tour?
I saw them on the Dragon Force tour. Yeah.
So where did I see them on the Dragon Force tour? I can't even remember.
Because I was in, I think you were you Cardiff, perhaps?
Maybe like the South Coast, like Bournemouth or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, they supported Dragon Force. And yeah, so I did see that and thought, yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Another band very close to my heart, Killswitch Engage, had My Curse.
Nice. Great.
Which is very, very good as well. And then another band close to my heart, Rise Against, had Prayer for the Refugee.
Nice.
Which is another just absolute great song from our youth. Yeah. In terms of rock, you've got Song to Say Goodbye by Placebo. Very good.
Right.
You had Snow and Danny California, which we mentioned before. And then the other one, which I've got in both album and single. And, you know, it was very close. I didn't know if I felt a bit... It feels a bit wrong putting them in because it's Master Exploder and Pick of Destiny by Tenacious D.
Yeah. It nearly made it into my albums, but
yeah, same.
I probably don't listen to it enough now to warrant it being in my favourite albums. But yeah, funny film. It wasn't a great film. It was fun, but I think it gets ignored. This album, it's rubbish. They're not good, but I think it's a funny album. It's got some really good songs.
Fantastic. Yeah,
got some great vocals on it. You know, great drumming on it by Dave Grohl as usual. You know, I think actually it has some. You know, give it some respect, you people.
Give it some respect. In fact, I haven't told you this yet. So in order to reduce the cost of my next tattoo, which I have £100 voucher for, I'm not going to have the Freddie Mercury tattoo. I am instead, I'm going to have that one after. I'm instead going to have the Pick of Destiny tattoo.
Brilliant.
On my wrist.
Great. Well, that will look cool. That will look good. Rock and roll. Musical nerd, Kenny Beveridge.
Thank you.
Thank you. The Pick of Destiny. More like the Dick of Destiny, am I right?
More like the Prick of Destiny, am I right?
I hope you didn't hear that.
Yes. I mean, incredible. That is all my honourable mentions. Anything else?
No. I just had my Paolo was in my honourable, The Killers, and Morrissey. I refuse to put any more in out of respect. But you've gone in. You've put another 20 in.
I put
you've ignored the whole concept. You're a. Should our favourites?
The fourth pick. If you're going to add an extra one, what's it going to be?
I think we have to put Last Request in because we've both mentioned it. Yeah. And judging from what we've said,
shall we put in Master Exploder?
But now we're just adding. Let's talk about this off air. I don't know. Because if I've picked a single as The Killers and you pick the album as The Killers, that suggests that perhaps The Killers should go in as opposed to just, you know what I mean?
Okay, we'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about it off air.
We'll talk about putting Master Exploder in later.
Yeah, Dick of Destiny. Yeah.
Yeah. I've spoken a lot there. You go ahead, right. Number three. I'm going
to do my favourites. We're going to have to rock through these because we're already at 43 minutes. Bowling for Soup, High School Never Ends. My number 3 is the first single from their 6th album, believe it or not. I was like, second, third album. It's the 6th album, Mental. Yeah. The album's called The Great Burrito Extortion Case. Brilliant. it's a song that deals with the frustration of graduating from high school, seeing that modern pop culture is similar to the, as quoted, obnoxiously superficial and materialistic culture in high school. Didn't realise this, but old Adam Schlesinger from Fountains of Wayne, who recently passed, he actually co-wrote the song. Wow. It was used on TV. It was used in like a show called Schooled, which was like a Goldberg spin-off. Pop punk, you know, catchy, typical what you expect from Bowling for Soup. You know, by the sixth album, there's really, you know, they got their sound down. You know what I mean? Overdrive, crunching guitars, really Americanized vocals. There's some harmonies in there, some kind of splashy cymbals, little solos, nothing crazy, just good old-fashioned Disney Channel type kind of pop punk, harmless really. Although there were some kind of controversial lyrics in the song, you know. I mean, it makes so many references to pop culture, you know. I've got a big list of some celebrities mentioned in the lyrics. Worth looking at the whole lyric sheet. I can't read it all, obviously, but it's for people that don't know the lyrics. They're very funny. They mentioned Mary Kate Olsen from the Olsen twins having an eating disorder. Jessica Simpson, Bill Gates was mentioned being captain of the chess team. It was kind of using the cliches and the stereotypes of, you know, okay, people in high school really haven't changed that much when they've got older and more successful. Reese Witherspoon being the prom queen, Jack Black being the clown, Brad Pitt being the quarterback. You know what I mean? It's all those celebrities at the time that represents that kind of materialistic, kind of simplistic, kind of high school culture. They did make references to Tom Cruise being gay, perhaps. Rumour at the time saying Katie had a baby, so I guess Tom's straight. Funny lyric, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Little throwaway lyrics, because at the time there was a litigation because a lot of journalists questioned his sexuality, basically. So there was a lot of legal issues and things. So it just basically satirises society and its scrutiny of celebrity lives, basically. Really fun video. They kind of return to high school and they get their revenge on their bullies. You know, wedgies and people being sick and that kind of thing. It's simplistic, it's silly, but really colourful, and they're playing on the high school stage, and it just looks cool. You know what I mean? I didn't realise, but Radio Disney made them alter the whole song because of the lyrics being controversial about eating disorders and things. So they kept changing the lines. So the lines, all the total dicks, was changed to all the popular cliques.
That's
who's having sex was changed to what's been suppressed, which is ironic. Who gets the honeys became who thinks they're funny. The line who's in the club, who's on the drugs, who's throwing up before they digest, completely removed entirely. Can't remember what it was replaced by. The Tom being gay thing was changed to how does Mary Kate always look so great and Katie's with Tom? Okay, I've got that straight. Clunky, you know what I mean?
Ironic that I've got that straight when he
might be,
and about the
Yeah, strange one. But I didn't. Yeah, I mean, I'm saying it was like a Disney song. They got a lot of play on kind of kids stations and things, but they had to rewrite their whole song, which is somewhat unusual for a kind of a popular band that at that time in their career. So good on them, I say. Kids loved them.
Yeah.
So it peaked at 97, went to 97 in the Billboard 100. Didn't get any higher than that. Peaked at number 40 in the UK. You know, stayed there for a month. That was fine. But for me, catchy song. It's an adage that's really so true to my life. In fact, I've used that quote in my life. High school never ends. It never ends. It's the same shit. It's the same superficial shit. People really don't change that much. So just love the song. It's a really cool song.
Yeah, I love this song. It speaks like volumes to modern life and just those that just coast through life, seem to get all the opportunities and all of the chances and the luck and the quarterback still, you know. And if you're a kind of like, it really brings, and much like I think what I'll talk about later when we mention MCR, there's that kind of like social misfit grouping together, that kind of like clan mentality of being a bit of a kind of like, you know, loser, really.
Yeah, no, it really was an anthem for kind of outcasts, and nice little rhythm section in it. Kick drum kind of follows the guitar part, which sometimes is unusual for stuff. Really drive the song. Just catchy, funny, singable, great imagery, great metaphors, funny references, super relevant, and I think it's probably one of their best songs as well. So I think, my number 3. Good pick. Bowling for Soup, High School Never Ends.
And Bowling for Soup, a band who have featured already on our playlist with Girl of the Bad Guys 1.
Yeah. Good
Yeah.
band. Good band.
Absolutely. So my number 3, quite different to that, as it was probably well, no, I'll get into who it was written by. Performed by the Prom Queen, essentially. It's Irreplaceable by Beyonce.
Classic, yeah. Powerhouse performance.
To the left, everything you own, and a box to the left. In
the closet is Madeleine McCann. What's she doing in there?
What's she? I found her.
What on earth? Anyway.
It was written by Neo.
Was that? I did not know that.
And 2 different writing teams, right? 6 people wrote this song, excluding Beyonce. It was originally...
She's just an artist, man. She's a poet, man. You just don't get it.
Yeah.
You just don't get it, man.
Yeah. There was some controversy, actually, when she said on a talk show that she had written the lyrics for, all the women out there. Oh, the men think they're irreplaceable, and she didn't write the lyrics at all. It was Neo that wrote the lyrics, I think.
Yep.
Originally a country song written in the style of someone like Shania Twain to sing.
Really?
And was also written from a male perspective originally. Also, Beyonce wasn't very keen to add it to the album, as it was mainly a club and dance album. And also, here's something that makes my skin crawl. Once it was recorded, I mean, it's a great song. It's obviously a hit, I think, when you listen to it. When it was recorded, there was a concern that urban radio would not play the track because it featured a prominent acoustic guitar.
Get a fucking grip.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
But
sorry. Turn it off. Turn it off.
Is that an actual instrument? Oh, no. Off.
G minor. Turn that off. It's so ignorant, isn't it?
It was.
I mean, it's the way of the world, mate. It's always been the way. But
high school never ends.
Think about that now. Yeah, high school never ends, and acoustic is on almost everything.
Yeah.
How times have changed, mate. How times have changed.
But it was subsequently picked up by urban radio and played hugely, and picked up by country radio and played massively on country radio in America.
They played that. They played that well because they've got both camps.
Yeah. So it, as a result, became a massive hit. Beyonce's biggest hit at the time.
So it was on urban radio, but was it on Turban radio?
I'm not sure it was on that. That was more much other stuff. I don't think women are allowed on Turban radio.
Okay, just checking there. Satire, just a bit of satire there.
It was nominated for Record of the Year at the 50th Grammy Awards.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Made various end-of-year, decade-end lists. The 25th most successful song of the 2000s in the US.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
And the most downloaded female ringtone in the 2000s in the US.
Oh, I guess, yeah. I mean, it's soft and harmless enough to be a good ringtone.
It's that beginning when the guitar comes in and the
yeah.
The drums, talking of the drums, they're very, very high in the mix on this track. It's got quite a trebly, cracky snare, which does get a bit annoying after a while.
Yeah.
But the rest of the track is very clean acoustic guitar sound, some beautiful vocals, and then some group vocals that come in. They meet with Beyonce, then they diverge from Beyonce. It's very, very nice. The one thing I noted was that it could have done with a key change for the last chorus.
Would have been nice. We know she can knock a key change out of the park, so
it really, really would have, to have quite an expansive major key change would have been quite sort of really to take it up for that last maybe 40 seconds or so. But yeah, great song, huge pop song. And yeah, number 3.
Also, no offense meant to cracky snare. We love what you're doing.
Yeah.
Just don't want you to get,
Prefer you didn't show up for the recording of St. Anger, but not a problem.
Wow. You can't rely on him.
Bin lid snare.
Bin lid snare. What were they thinking? We'll talk about that another time. That's a special.
Yeah.
Worst recorded drums.
Worst recorded snare drums. Number 1.
Hello, clacky snare. My number 2 is a song that a lot of people probably missed. Controversial song at the time, actually, for reasons I shall explain. It's Atreyu with The Theft. Atreyu.
You sound
Dunno.
You sound a bit
Don't know where the intonation is.
Atreyu.
Oh, Atreyu.
Oh.
Anyway, it's that, The Theft. Good band, third album, A Death Grip on Yesterday. Released through, what were they, Victory Records. They're kind of a metalcore band, post-hardcore band from California. Some people are like, what's post-hardcore? Does that mean when you post some hardcore? No, you what? It's kind of like, there's some screaming in there, but there's also some melody. It's kind of like melodic metal. There's a lot of breakdowns, things like that. It's kind of hard to explain. It does sit in its own style, metalcore, and it was very much kind of early 2000s, you know what I mean? There's other bands that they're kind of similar to. There's that kind of Bullet kind of thing going on there. It's not particularly proggy or anything. There's kind of like 3-minute songs, relatively standard in terms of arrangement. And this one perhaps isn't actually, but so the album in itself was leaked onto BitTorrent actually like a month before release, which I thought was for 2006. That is a really early leak, because like leaks were still a big thing now, but like back then, a month before, like that would have been huge. And there was a lot of worries that it would affect the single sale or affect the album sales. It didn't. It still sold like 69,000 in its first week, 4,000 afterwards. So that didn't really affect them, which was probably a good example of torrenting not affecting sales for a band, which sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I still maintain if you like it enough, people do buy things,
Yeah, for sure.
The particular single got to number 9 on the Billboard 200, so very, very high for a metal song, especially
very high.
Screamo. So they actually released an instrumental version of the album like a year later, but a really divisive song. Like at the time, a lot of people said it's not metal enough. There's not enough Screamo. It was like included gay lyrics, not my words. Actual reviewers at the time, it's a bit gay. When that was still being used as a throw around insult, which is just bizarre, how we think about that. It was actually inspired by kind of like Edward Scissorhands and the kind of the cinematic Danny Elfman type scores. That's why there's a lot of orchestral pieces within the song, a lot of layers. It's very kind of escapist. The song kind of feels like it's placed kind of not of this world. It kind of feels like it's it's a slightly different area. It's kind of a bit magical. It's basically because they were watching Edward Scissorhands, so that kind of explains that. But in terms of its arrangement, it's kind of has different movements. So in the intro is like a kind of slow orchestral intro, a little bit reminiscent of kind of Evergrey, kind of Scandinavian kind of prog, little bit of that in there. Quite dark, quite dirgy. Goes into like a nice kind of breakdown at the beginning. Really layered harmonies from the beginning. It's like 34 seconds in is the first one, so there's like a good 34 seconds of instrumental before you even get, which is often the case with rock and metal, but takes a little while to get into it. That brings it back down for the first verse. Lots of tight harmonies, really layered. Again, not always the same for metal, especially metalcore. Very tasteful drums, kind of following the bass pattern. Orchestral arrangement, like I said, comes in and out. Screamo kind of bursts in, kind of punctuates some of the imagery in the kind of the chorus. It's just vocals sung by the drummer for the verse, and then the chorus is the drummer and the kind of they have basically a nice soft drummer vocal, and then they have a screamo vocal.
Their drummer is their singer full time, isn't he? I think.
Yeah. He's called Brandon. So Brandon does clean vocals. Basically, Alex does screamo. So he kind of screams different negative words like crushed and numb. It kind of really punctuates the kind of negativity. But they know when to hold back, which for some metal bands they don't know when to hold back. So it's kind of the juxtaposition of Alex's screaming to Brandon's clean vocals. So the actual thing, it's like verse 1, verse 2, chorus, verse 3, verse 4, and there's a bridge, and then there's a chorus, and then there's an outro. So it's like, it's only like just under 4 minutes, but it feels like an epic track. It's really interesting if you listen to the full thing. So there's been many debates over the actual true meaning of the song, because it was a bit of a departure for them. And I've got a lot of notes on it that I'm not going to read them all, but I've found quite a few different kinds of reviews, and people a little bit inspired by the lyrics, didn't quite know what the lyrics meant. There's kind of a lot of duality in the lyrics. It seems to be about the theft of your innocence, basically. Right. You know, some reviewers said, well, it could be to do with the relationship, and like it's about a guy that gives everything, receives nothing in return, and it kind of eats him alive. And then, you know, he's being taken advantage of, but he kind of doesn't have the strength to do anything about it. And then people kind of say, oh no, it's about the music industry, and it's about giving and giving and then being exploited and abused by the industry when you've put your heart and soul into something. Around the time there was a best of CD released of some of their music, and they considered that to be somewhat of a full stop on their career, 3 albums in, to be given a best of. They were like, well, I don't understand what's going on.
That's not great, is it?
They felt that was a bit insulting. So some people were saying it's that. Then the video kind of is very different. It's kind of like a kid walking around with like a paper aeroplane, and he's walking through a ballroom, and the kid's kind of on his own, but then he becomes a grown man, but then he plays with the thing again. So he's kind of like, but he's still got his inner child. It's very convoluted. There's a lot of contrasting imagery. Is it about being twisted and shaped into what others want you to be? There was loads of talk about it. It seems to be the consensus is it's about the theft of innocence, whether it's in a relationship, family, music, whatever. Lots of different lyrics support this, you know, very much kind of pushing the metaphors, you know, he bends and he breaks. If he gives, they will take away. His passion is pain, his grace. He exhales 1,000 black flowers explode into butterflies. Really kind of massively poetic lyrics for like a metalcore band.
So
really
what's the gay lyrics contra?
Well,
is it just that it's quite expressive and quite...
it's because they're soft metaphors.
Yeah.
That was what people thought was offensive. You know, but then they're not, because the chorus is rip them out, take them, burn to coals as they crush and leave nothing that resembles the soul of a man. That's the chorus.
Gay.
That's not gay.
Gay.
That's gay. Yeah. My hands feel like they're rusting away, so I'll pace around like a lamb before the slaughter. That's a bit gay, isn't it? It's a bit gay.
Scissor Sisters wrote that. Sisters wrote that one.
It's bizarre. I don't understand. Very deep lyrics, very poetic, created a lot of debate for many years. And it's a very haunting song. You know what I mean? It's, you know, there's corruption in there. There's the whole feel of it is very twisted and very escapist and very kind of like, it brings forth something quite sad and quite haunting and some, you know, just something you quite can't understand. The band said, oh, it's just about like the music industry raping and killing your dreams. Oh,
right.
Okay then. And then they went, and also we watched Edward Scissorhands before it as well. Right.
Just so you know.
That whole bit about Butterfly, just about having a record contract.
Yeah.
But what that says to me anyway, to wrap up this ramble, is it's a killer like metalcore, epic cinematic ballad. It's metal at its most provocative, which metal isn't always. Yeah. You know, you can really derive your own meaning from it. You know, it's definitely about loss. It's definitely about the loss of innocence. It's moving. You know, it's haunting. It's sad, but it's hopeful. It kind of exists out perhaps slightly outside the normal paradigms of traditional metal. You know, it's gothic poetry.
Oh,
and that is Atreyu, The Theft. Listen to it. You'll like it.
You'll bloody like it. Just pop you speaking over the top.
Yeah, fine.
Whilst listening. That'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, well, check that out.
Deep, baby.
Deep. My number 2. So, as we mentioned, there's so many singles that would have gone onto the albums. This is definitely one of them. Yeah. We love the album. So the single is Starlight by Muse. Now, we had Origin of Symmetry, my album of the year. We had Absolution, one of
Great
my
album.
top 3 albums of the year, or one of your
Yep.
top 3 albums of the year.
Yeah, loved it.
You put it on. Butterflies and Hurricanes, I think.
Yeah.
And now the next Muse album, the 4th Muse album, which is called Black Holes and Revelations. And this song being Starlight. So also on the album, you've got Supermassive Black Hole, which actually made...
Oh. It's all like...
Supermassive Black Hole made many more decade end, year end lists than Starlight. However, I prefer Starlight. I think it's a better song.
I love Starlight. It was actually, I came to Muse a little later. Although I knew Muse, I have to say this album was the catalyst for me to really delve back at their other albums, because I only really knew the singles.
Yeah.
I liked them, but that single when it came out and subsequently the album, I was like, right, these have really cemented themselves as like one of the best rock bands maybe ever.
Yeah. So you had Maps of the Problematique as well, and Nights of Sidonia was the singles.
Great.
Other big tracks. Nights of Sidonia was very close to this spot as well.
Very proggy, very quirky.
So good.
Like
and
a Western, like a cinematic Western rock song.
Yeah. To juxtapose from Irreplaceable, this song written by Matt Bellamy solely.
Nice. Wow. There's a debate to be had there, isn't there, of merit, artistic merit, perhaps.
Indeed. Apparently, the hardest song on the album to record had 6 or 7 different versions having been recorded for the album. And then this one going on there, obviously. It only reached 13 in the UK, went gold. Supermassive Black Hole, I mentioned, went 4th and went platinum. So it was definitely the more successful single. However, Starlight is, I think, the superior song. Mm-hmm. It's got that driving bass that holds the whole song together. Like Muse, I think, as someone who maybe plays an instrument, you would recognise as a 3-piece, their bass often underpins their songs with lots and lots of notes to give Matt Bellamy, chance to either solo or come out of the track completely with his guitar. Although they do play, I think, with a second guitarist live.
They do, yeah.
So you've got that bass that holds the track together at the bottom, as it normally does on a Muse track. But it's got that really just quite simple but very beautiful piano motif that runs throughout the song. The do 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 do. It's just
very very 80s, very Depeche, very 80s kind of new wave. Obviously he wears his influences very much on his sleeve. Matt Bellamy, through ABBA, through Queen, through whatever. So nice to hear the synth incorporated.
And then Matt Bellamy, just in incredible form with his high registered voice. Apparently when they played this live, from recording to touring, his voice had begun to come down in register. So they actually tuned this song down a step, I believe, when they played it live, compared to when it was recorded. But so Starlight, just a great song. I don't have too much more else to say on it.
Am I right in saying that the drum pattern for this spells out tits in Morse code? I believe that to be true. Really? I believe that to be true, yeah, because it goes boom, 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 boom. Great drum track. I actually taught, when I was back teaching drums, would teach beginners that fill, very much on the floor tom, alternating snares, some nice bass drum in between. It's one of those really nice, simple but deceptively so
Yeah.
Little beginner tracks for people to learn. Obviously, it gets a little bit heavier in the kind of the middle eight and things. But yeah, beautiful song, beautifully restrained through a lot of it, sung well, very catchy. Great motifs in it, great hooks, really, really good, and the chugging bass throughout.
Yeah,
love it.
Fantastic song. Goes on as number 2. As I said before, the album easily would have gone on, but when we pick a single, we do not pick the album, and the other way around.
Yeah,
so,
all right. So stop asking.
To not double up on tracks. That is the reason. So
yeah,
phenomenal album as well. But that is my number 2.
Great album. Well, I'm going to go for my number 1, which is Gone Poppy. Gone Poppy this time. Take it away from the rock for a second. It's Will Young with All Time Love. Second single from his third album, Keep On. Will Young, coming from Pop Idol, of course, won somewhat controversially over Gareth Gates at the time, although people like both of them. We can see who had the better career, Will Young.
Yeah, I mean...
Gareth Gates peaked with a cover of Spirit in the Sky. Good stuff.
Yeah, Will Young really... Yeah. You can knock those shows as much as you want, but they have given... Whether you could say whether he'd have made it or not, you don't know. But what a talent he is.
Well, Will Young's one of the biggest success stories from Who Am I, Leave Right Now. He just did multiple great Will Young songs over the years. Second single. It's actually written by a guy called Jamie Hartman from a band called Ben's Brother. I would recommend those. I think they may well come up at some point during our countdowns. Great pop rock band in their own right. So he wrote this song for Will. Which, if you know Ben's Brother, you can hear the resemblance there. Got to number 3 in the UK singles chart. It played in the final of a show over here called 2 Pints of Lager and a Packet of Crisps. If anyone's heard of that sitcom with, I think it had Sheridan Smith in it, people like that.
Yeah.
Weird kind of dystopian video where he's like in a court and there's weird foreigners and a judge and there's like military on the streets and protests. It's a bit like 2020. He did a big thing saying that actually the video's about I'm the leader of a student group of artists and I'm in court for my ideas, crimes of passion, and it's all about modern day capitalism and controlling society, but that's got nothing to do with the song at all.
Nothing.
The song is basically a prayer. It's like, I have had flings, I've had relationships, but I want real love. Some of the lyrics, sometimes you walk by the good ones because you're trying too hard to see them. Sometimes you don't find the right lines because you're trying too hard to hear them. Very beautiful, just flowing through nicely. Some days you're too set in your ways and you forget to shut up and listen. Just nice little things of, what? It's less seek and ye shall find. It's more like live and you shall be found. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of those religious, spiritual, philosophical undertones. It's deep without kind of straying into sentimentality or cliche. It's very gentle, sung wonderfully, great kind of emotion through song. Guy Will's very, very good at that. Beautiful kind of gentle voice. A lot of frustration in there, but finality as well. It's basically, I'm okay with me. I'm okay with my decisions. It's fine to make mistakes. In fact, the bridge says, if everything is plain sailing, then you basically won't learn anything about your life. So it's okay to go through trouble and issues in your life because ultimately you learn a lot about yourself. So it's really just a message of hope and understanding, and of love. Don't settle for any less. You know what you deserve. Be your true self, and you'll get an all-time love. And that is basically for me all you need from a pop song. And it's supported by a lovely arrangement, very simple, very cinematic. Again, the video I think was I wouldn't have done it like that at all, but no. Be perfect for a film. It could work from I think it would be beautifully suited to like a Love Actually type film, which is kind of a little bit vacuous, and probably the song is a little deeper than the film, but it would kind of, that's the kind of film I think it would suit. I don't believe it was used for almost anything, but the voted song of the year by Heat readers. I know Heat doesn't really have much merit. It's a magazine over here in the UK. Shortlisted for British Single of the Year at the Brits, didn't win. He's one of the best, for me, one of the best pop singles of the noughties. I think it was kind of brave to go with something a bit more gentle again. And Will sings it really well, and it's got a lovely message, and that's all you need.
Nice.
I shall go for Will Young with All Time Love.
Lovely.
Very nice. You might
A
even shed
beautiful
a tear. Might even shed a tear when you listen to it.
It is tear worthy.
It is.
It is, yeah. Okay. So, Jack,
Go on.
my number one.
Go on.
Let's be honest. Our number one.
Well, it's a joint number one, really, isn't it? Yeah.
And I was a young boy.
Go on.
My father took me.
Go on. Did he beat you?
He took me into the city
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
to see a marching band. He said,
Oh.
"Son, when you grow up,
Go on.
would you be the savior of the broken, the beaten, and the damned?
And you said,
Play
It's a lot better, Dad.
the best song in the world."
I'll eat your soul.
Well, it's
You got
just so.
Dad. That's a lot of pressure. Look, I just wanted to see the parade.
I'll be honest, Dad. That's a lot of pressure. It's Welcome to the Black Parade, My Chemical Romance. Of course it is.
Wow, I mean, a rock anthem for the ages. The second coming of Queen, some people said. Now, this single is representative of the album, of course it is.
Yeah. So
Tell me about Welcome to the Black Parade.
this was basically when we saw 2006. We'd done a little bit of research. The question me and Jack asked was, well, who's doing My Chemical Romance? And because Jack got to do American Idiot, I am doing Welcome to the Black Parade. Now, I didn't pick it for the album because as much as I love the album, there are some weaker spots on it.
Yes,
I believe.
yep, there are.
Mama, Cancer, maybe Teenagers is a little bit corny.
Wasn't Disenchanted. Wasn't a big fan of that one.
Yeah,
I think Cancer's good. I think Cancer should be longer. It's too short for me.
yeah. I mean, it doesn't. It kind of.
His voice.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of the voice, and I'm not a big fan of the kind of circus-esque sound of Mama.
No.
But I mean, Dead, the first track, is incredible. Famous Last Words is also amazing.
But where's your heart?
But where's your nano heart? So
Right.
I thought that the album is very much encapsulated by the single Welcome to the Black Parade. It sort of tells you everything you need to know about the album. It is the microcosm of the album. So therefore, I thought it's just as good to pick it as the single.
Yeah.
It peaked at number 9 in the Hot 100, the American Billboard chart. Again, very impressive for a rock song. Number 1 in the UK, obviously, because we have better taste than the Americans.
Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, an American band that was really taken on by the British, really.
100%. I mean, we've said before, front page of the newspaper. Oh, get rid of these emos. Every kid's going to kill themselves. Yeah. You know, it made headline news. This album suddenly embraced by the mainstream.
Yeah.
Capitalism.
It went 3 times platinum in the US, so it was popular by the end. Nominated for Kerrang! Single of the Year. 17th in Rolling Stone's 100 Best Songs of 2006.
Nice.
However, it kind of maybe matured because sort of as the years went on, the music video, which, you know, is very much, this album was very visual as well as sonically incredible, visually incredible. It was like a kind of event. Their kind of the way that they did this album was just incredible with the look and the black jackets, and
it
so
really
the
was
video,
a carnival. Like you said, it was a carnival. You know what I mean? It was a full stage show, really.
Yeah. So MTV put the music video as the best of the entire century in 2017.
So it's like the guy in the hospital bed, and then there's the parade outside his window. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
It basically tells the story of the album, which is of a cancer patient who dies and joins the Black Parade.
So it is a concept album, of course.
Very much a concept album. Loudwire put it as the 37th best hard rock song of the 21st century.
Wow.
But the thing about the song is it's sort of more than numbers. For many people, this was the definitive 5 minutes of their entire adolescence. This was it represented kind of more of a movement. It was like the kind of unification of, much like High School Never Ends, it was kind of that kind of symbol of pride of what would be seen as maybe emos, or, you know, you were metalheads, or the ones that were kind of pushed away from society and in schools, and, you know, maybe you straightened your hair and you were into wearing Metallica t-shirts and not into you know, the latest trends, and had studded belts. And
you're talking about yourself, yeah?
Yeah,
I thought so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it really represented a symbol of sort of pride of this of this kind of, and it really is like a call to arms, this song. You know, join the Black Parade, and you kind of felt like that was a feeling of kind of, well, it felt like you had a sort of a place.
Unity, it's family. It's I found my kin. I found my tribe.
Yeah,
and yeah. Great. What can you say? Brilliant,
a phenomenal song.
Brilliant album. Very reminiscent of your Queens and again bands like that. You know, that continue to have inspired people to this day. You know, the pairing of the visuals. I hadn't seen it done for a very long time, with just the commitment to the concept, you know, on stage and off stage. You know, Gerard, the singer, dyeing his hair completely white, you know, and
I mean, long black hair to basically a buzz cut with a bleach blonde. It was shocking as an MCR fan, because having been a fan of the first and second album, and then obviously in the end hugely paid off. Perhaps didn't pay off with the next album, dyeing the hair red.
I remember going mad when this album came out. I mean, I saw the single and I just thought, oh my, they've completed music. How's this happened?
Yeah,
like they've taken what was, and I love 3 Cheers. That's already made its way in, you know, with I'm Not Okay, but just, you know, different styles. Some people would turn them off. You know, they thought it was a bit dramatic, a bit overblown, a bit self-serving. I don't agree at all. I think it was balls out. It was balls out. Anthemic rock that was quirky, and it was catchy, and there was a couple of songs that let it down. I would say some of the slower ones were probably the weak spots there. I think they probably felt they had to crowbar in a couple of ballads, you know what I mean? Although Black Parade has its slow point, and, you know, but great drums from Bob Breyer, you know, super catchy, you know, great to play. We played things from it before. I remember buying a cowbell to play teenagers in a band. Literally bought cowbell to do that. You know, sold it, I think, in the end, because cowbells are really loud.
Really loud. really loud.
Loud bells.
Hey? Come
on, baby.
This track will forever be played at 2000s discos, emo discos, rock discos. You just can't beat that beginning. And then the drop into the track, the do 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 do.
Really nice feel. Really fiddly to do.
It's it's a shout out loud. Bloody, come on. Is
it the peak? Is it peak My Chem? Was it all downhill from there?
Yeah, I mean, it was downhill with some bumps that sort of...
Compare that to Na 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 Na, which is a catchy song, but it's, you know, that was Gerard in his, it's paid off very much in his comic book phase, you know, in his let's all be larger than life comic book characters. And I think, you know, the Black Parade strikes a nice balance of being theatrical, but not being too self-indulgent, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially you know, it could be a stage show.
I mean, They've done American Idiot, mate. How would you feel about Black Parade the musical?
I'd be all over it.
I'd be all over that like a flannel.
You know,
maybe not this year because that doesn't seem to be happening at the moment. But
Yeah. I don't really want sort of it to be streamed with no audience.
What's his? Is it Umbrella Academy? That's Gerard Way's.
That's right. Yeah, just
season 2, isn't it?
got its second season. Yeah, written by him. The comic book's written by him, I think, and then it was adapted. Yeah, very good, and obviously reformed. And let's not talk about the fact that we'd be seeing them in a month's time.
Reformed and postponed,
This
time next year, unless there's a cataclysm, which let's face it, there probably will be. We should be seeing them, and we'll report back in a year's time. Never know. We'll probably have backstage passes then. So
probably
a couple of lads, couple of boys.
This episode probably sponsor it, MCR, if you would. Come on.
So I'll be like, oh hi, I play drums. I brought my sticks. So can I just come in? Musician here, guys. Can I come in, please?
Hi.
We're all musicians here, guys. Can I come in, please? Nah, not going to happen, is it? They're only jealous of us, mate. What can I say? Well, brilliant album, brilliant single. It represents the album in its entirety.
Yeah,
I love it. Now, I'm gonna say something now.
I think I know what you're going to say.
I think you know what I'm going to say. What we're going to do is we're going to end this episode here because we've gone an hour and a half on albums.
I think
we're going to outro it. Unless you need a break, we're then going to intro it and go straight into the next one, and you're going to cut it in half. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. That's probably let's finish it here. That's the best albums of 2006. I'm going to get up, walk around, deal with my numb bum.
Oh yeah, deal with your numb bum.
Then we're going to come back with the best albums of 2006.
Yeah. So let's do a refresh just before the end. We are putting on Bowling for Soup, High School Never Ends. We're putting on Atreyu, The Theft. We're putting on Will Young, All Time Love.
Yeah.
Your choices are?
We are putting on Irreplaceable by Beyonce, then Starlight by Muse, and finally Welcome to the Black Parade by My Chemical Romance.
If you search for 21st Century Breakdown, RRUP on Spotify, you will find our official playlist of all the singles and album tracks that we've picked over the last 6 years. We will be adding these on when the episode comes out. Put a little thing at the top so you know they're the bottom 6 songs or bottom 12 songs once we've done albums as well.
Yeah.
So don't look at the top. If you want to play the whole thing, of course do that, but look at the bottom 6 to 12 songs, and they'll be our most recent songs from 2006. We'll put the links in the YouTube description. It's on our link tree. It's on our socials. You'll be able to find the playlist nice and easy. It's all pinned and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If people get confused, where can people listen to us, Kenny Beveridge?
You can tune in to the visual part of this podcast on YouTube, Rock and Roll Up Podcast. If you don't want to look at our faces, I don't blame you.
That's
Although
weird.
Jack's got a nice haircut, so maybe check that out this week.
Thank you. I've had my hair sheared off, and it's all come off.
Farmer had a go. But you can listen to the audio version of this playlist at iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Big Heads Media website, and Stitcher. Almost forgot it. Got
and
it.
other obscure places that our content appears to be on for some reason.
Didn't know that it was going to go there, but there you go.
We go there, baby. You can let us know your favourite albums from 2006. Rock and Roll Up Pod on Twitter and Rock and Roll Up Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. We're climbing the hill to 2000 on Twitter, climbing the hill to 2000 on Instagram. Thank you once again for all your support. Meeting many lovely people. Please do send us any ideas, anything that you'd like to talk about. You know, we're just a couple of lads, a couple of cool musicians, baby. One of those, couple of these. I've hit my head again.
You've done it again.
I've done it again. That is shards of wood as well.
Tune in next week to hear our best albums of 2006. We will see you then.
We'll see you there. When I was a young boy. Let's do the full song. My father
took me to the city to see my marching band.
That's what we're going to be like when we're there. We're going to be weeping. Our makeup, our mascara's going to be everywhere. You know, we might kiss. You know, anything can happen. Anything can happen. I love you. Love you.
Much love. See you next week.
See you later, guys. I've been Jack.
I've been Kenny.
Peace out.
When I was... I'll stop.
Yes.